in this Cliff Kingsbury offense. We know that Deebo Samuel back in 2021 was outstanding. He was at running back, he was at receiver, he was in the slot. But where will he be in this offense? Will he be more lined up out wide, or will he be like he was in 2021 where he's a Pro Bowler, where he had 8 rushing touchdowns, 136 touches, 1,700 scrimmage yards? So that's the first question. How big of an impact will Deebo Samuel play in this offense, especially if Terry McLaurin decides to sign? Question number 2, going to the Philadelphia Eagles. How will they replace their production on defense? You're losing Darius Slay, who's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Losing guys like Josh Sweat, who had 8 sacks. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who tied the NFL lead with 6 interceptions. Young players will have to step up. So will it be guys like Jalen Hunt, who's a second-year player from last year's draft? Maybe a rookie like Andrew Makuba. Who's going to replace the production that is left the Philadelphia Eagles? Number 3, question. The Cowboys defense. How much will they improve under Matt Eberflus? And there's a huge amount of room for improvement. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL last season. Matt Eberflus is a brilliant defensive mind. Back in 2017, before he was with the Colts, they were one of the worst defenses. When he got there in 2018, they went to top 10. Last year, the Cowboys were one of the worst defenses. Will they be top 10 this year and give Dallas a chance to compete in the NFC East, maybe in the playoffs? And last but not least, what's the plan for Jackson Dart in New York? Will he play as a rookie? Will he sit and watch whether it's Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? And then if Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston struggle early, how quickly will Dart see the field? This is a team that for the last 3 years has struggled under Brian Daboll. They've gotten worse and worse, at least record-wise. Will Jackson Dart be the answer this season, or will some of the veteran quarterbacks keep him at bay? Those are the questions that I cannot wait to see answered.
Yeah, I love that. It's probably got you going out your mind right now, Sam. But before we get you out of here, there hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East since the Eagles won the division 4 straight years from 2001 to 2004. So do the Eagles break that streak this season?
No, they don't. I think it's going to be the Washington Commanders that win this division. This team went to the NFC title game last season, and they only got better. They added a 5-time Pro Bowler in Laramie Tunsil to protect your Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jayden Daniels. They added Deebo Samuel. It seems as if they're working on a contract for Terry McLaurin. This team has the clutch gene, and I think that goes back to their quarterback, number 5, Jayden Daniels. Consistently, week in and week out, you did not find a weakness in his game, and now they just added pieces to protect him and also to make him better. So I cannot wait to watch what the Commanders do, and I think they will be the team that wins the NFC East this season.
That is Sam Otto with his Sunday's best on. I like the fit that you're going on, brother. Appreciate you for joining SportsCenter.
Appreciate it, my brother. Yes, sir.
To every single NFL team today at some point, you see what it looks like on your screen. Up next, the Jets. 9:05, we check in with the Dolphins to see the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr., what he's looking like. And how about that quarterback battle for the Browns? That at 9:30 a.m. I mentioned the Bears. They're on your screen. The Panthers. You've got the Texans, the Eagles, the defending champs. And then we'll go to Patriots camp. So much more coming in the afternoon as well. A lot of top stories to get to, though. We talked about Shamar Stewart off the top of the show, but what else should we know about that's the latest in the league right now, Adam?
We got a lot of ground to cover today, but right now we're going to start with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, who will be out of training camp for at least the next week or so with a hamstring injury. It's not the same hamstring that he suffered a couple of years back. Different side, the left hamstring. This time they're going to hold him out of practice for the next week. Be smart. It's important that he and J.J. McCarthy develop some chemistry, but they can afford to take some time. And the most important thing right now is to make sure that Justin Jefferson gets the rest that he needs. Jets quarterback Justin Fields put a scare throughout Mike Greenberg in the New York area on Thursday when he went down with some sort of lower body injury. Well, it just turned out to be a dislocated toe. And he ran out to practice yesterday. And even though he wasn't out there, it feels like he could practice as early as today. He's not going to miss any time, and Greeny and New York can exhale. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders continue to wait for Terry McLaurin. They've been trying to get a deal done throughout the offseason. McLaurin has publicly complained about his frustration and disappointment. The fact of the matter is they haven't been close, but these things can heat up instantaneously. This is a deal that'll come in north of $30 million, you would think, but they're obviously struggling to get that done. And while that's the case, he remains out of camp. But Shamar Stewart is back in camp. The final first-round draft pick of the 2025 draft class deal done last night. He now reports to camp, and he needs as much time and help as possible because all the talent is there, and it'll be up to the Bengals to get it out of him. And now that they've gotten Shamar Stewart taken care of, they can move on to Trey Hendrickson, who remains a holdout in Florida, awaiting that new deal. The two sides have been talking, and we'll see if they can figure out a way to get a deal done.
Louis, the Bengals, it's no secret, they need to be better on defense, right? How do they get to the point where they can get Trey Hendrickson back in the fold, and how much maybe does it affect them that he's going to miss some time?
How do they get him back in the fold? Look, I think, to me, I mean, Adam, you tell me what you know as far as like the details of this negotiation.
Guaranteed money. It's all about guaranteed money.
And that usually is a function of them struggling with the future performance protection, right? So in order for them to say, look, guaranteed at signing, I want this, that means like you're trying to extrapolate, well, what is this production going to look like 2, 3, 4 years down the road? But they know better than anyone how he takes care of himself, how he practices, how he rehabs, all that. Me personally, looking at him from the outside in, I wouldn't be worried about a damn thing with Trey Hendrickson.
No.
Okay? I would be sitting there, I'd be looking at TJ Watt and going, look, this dude has the same kind of motor as TJ does. This guy puts in the same kind of time and commitment to his craft as TJ Watt does, and he has produced for it. He's been a home run for them. A home run for them. So I think for them, it's kind of like, it's almost like he's saying, well, listen, without him, who do you think Shamar Stewart's going to look to if he's not there? Who's going to teach him how to be a pro? Who's going to teach Shamar Stewart how to actually rush the passer and not just be a great athlete if he's not there? And now Golden, I mean, who's he turning to now? Yeah. The new defensive coordinator, who's he looking around? He's looking around going, hey, wait a second.
This isn't what I signed
up for. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I know Joe Burrow went to ownership and said, hey, look, I need T and Jamar back, okay? That's great. Joe needs his stuff. If I'm Al Golden right now, I'm like, hey, look, you brought me in here to replace Lou, and you're not going to give me anything? You're not going to give me any bullets in my gun? I mean, you have to understand just how important that position is. You see what the money, just follow the money in the NFL. You see what's happening. And Trey has earned his.
Correct me if I'm wrong. No shot he gets traded.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
No shot he gets traded.
Not right now.
So it's either.
Oh, but it could if
we
get to the
I
season.
think both sides are intent on trying to figure it out. If they haven't figured it out in October and he's still out there, could something happen at that point? Sure, right, exactly. But I can tell you, today, the Bengals are not thinking about it.
He doesn't come across as a person and a player that's willing to sit 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season.
He's dug in right now, though.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
What would give you that impression?
Exactly.
To me, it seems just the opposite.
Exactly. I spoke to him Monday night.
It seems just
spoke to
the
him Monday
opposite.
night for 30 minutes. He sounded pretty dug into me. I said, are you prepared to sit? He said, I don't care. If it doesn't come back on my time, I'm sitting there. I'm not playing.
Any idea how far off there?
They're off on the guaranteed money.
The
Bengals were at 1 year of guaranteed money. The other top pass rushers all got 3 years of guaranteed money. It's not hard to figure out. Okay, so somehow we got to be at about 2 years of guaranteed money.
Yes.
Revelation.
As we've learned over the last month, maybe even longer than that, the Bengals are one of the organizations that feels strongly in its principles, and they believe that they have reasons behind their logic in contract negotiations, and they have typically been unwilling to go past that first year of guaranteed structure. Even the T. Higgins contract, which is this gargantuan $110 million deal, whatever the exact number is, $115 million deal. Even that one's the kind they have a little bit of an escape door after just 1 year. That being said, I do think one of the risks that they are running right now, on top of the obvious, which is one of the, 2, 3 best pass rushers at worst in the NFL, is not available for a defense that was terrible besides him last year, is what's the rest of the locker room thinking? They're probably young bucks on that team that are saying, all right, so a guy who does everything right, is extremely accountable, produces on the field, by all accounts is a great teammate, can't get his deal done. What do I have to do to get my deal done?
But the Joe Burrow contracts had multiple years guaranteed money. And Jamar Chase had multiple years guaranteed money.
That's what I said. Most often do not.
And Jamar Chase.
So
He's 30 years old, by the way. That's the issue, right? We're saying, on the Bengals side, they're like, he's going to decline in production because he's older. I don't agree. I'm just saying that.
I know you don't. See, that boogeyman 30 number, like, it's so annoying to listen to sometimes. Because it's just like, it's like before you even get to the actual particulars of the play, it's like 30 years old. Well, you know what we got to do now? Now we got to cut. Come on now.
How old is TJ Watt?
Exactly. He's put 30 plus. I mean, come on. See, listen, they have no shot without him. They have, and they're not going to develop Shamar Stewart the way they want to without
this guy. We know his character. It's one of the reasons why we would be willing to pay him a certain amount of money.
They know he'll sit out.
See, I just wouldn't want like guys like to be quite honest with you, Dan, guys like that, I wouldn't be wanting to play that chicken game. I wouldn't want to play that game with
I agree.
because to me it just feels wrong. It's like you've done everything I've asked you to do.
Yeah. Just do right by the guy.
You know, there's always like that point right in the negotiation where you kind of give in something that you didn't want, but you don't give everything. And as a player, right, you get a lot of what you want, but maybe not everything. That's the sweet spot, right?
Sure.
So since he's got to budge some a little bit here, otherwise your defense is going to stink. It just is.
And we've seen what it looked like last year.
When you're talking about projecting him sitting out, I want to say it's July 26th. There is so much time between now and then. There is so much time for these two sides to figure out a deal, find a way to get it done, and that would be what I would think would happen at some point. That they'll get a deal done.
Yeah.
Right. And he said these things have a way of working themselves out.
Of course they do.
I have a feeling this will work itself out, which is kind of like I have a feeling I'll give in a little.
I have a feeling I'm going to let this work out. All right, there's other deals that aren't done. We'll talk about Micah Parsons, Terry McLaurin, and more a little bit later on in the show. And a reminder that we are live at all of these camps as we go around today. So we'll go to the Dolphins soon. You see Tyreek Hill getting ready to go out there. He's talked about more accountability with his teammates. Tua Tagovailoa saying they're working on actually rehabbing their relationship a little bit. We'll see them live on the field, see what that connection looks like in just a little bit. As we continue on here, here's more of our schedule. We just showed you the Dolphins. That's a little cheat sheet. That's where we're going next. But later on in the day, the Cowboys, you see them at 2:30 p.m. That'll be on ABC. Don't miss that. You'll see the really interesting quarterback battle there. We've heard a lot about Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. Of course, you've got everything going on with Shedeur Sanders as well. And we'll keep an eye on what Dylan Gabriel is doing too. So I believe we're going to stay here for just a minute. Let me know if that's what we're doing. Chanel, our producer. Okay, we're staying here. So when you look at this quarterback battle, Field, we'll start with you. You got a lot of familiarity.